If you're a human design fan, you're going to love this episode of Defy the Odds because I'm going to tell you my human design story, how I discovered human design, how I began embodying my design, and how aligning with my design as a 6-2 splenic projector has been the biggest piece that has allowed me to grow my business to multiple six figures in just a few short years. So let's just dive right in. If you've listened to the first few episodes, you know that I had several businesses before this one. And those businesses were built without human design, without any knowledge of it, without any real understanding of energy, of energetics, of frequency, of manifestation, of alignment. Those businesses were built on pure strategy and grit and hustle. And I fully believe that's why I burnt out. That's why I wasn't able to sustain it. And that's why after about 3 years, that was my time period that I could make it work. After about 3 years, I walked away. And this was my pattern over and over and over. I worked 3 years as a therapist. I worked 3 years as a life coach. I worked 3 years as an executive assistant for a life coach. And after those 3 years, every single time I said, this isn't working. I can't do it any longer. Now, looking back, of course, I know that it's because I was showing up as a generator and manifesting generator. I was trying to keep up with what I saw everyone else doing, and I wasn't trusting my body. I wasn't allowing myself to rest. I wasn't listening to my splenic intuition. And I mean, we could go so deep into here of all the different nine centers and how misaligned I was, but just seeing how much of my conditioning was running the show has been such a game changer now that I understand my design and now that I know how to embody it and use it. It's been my greatest gift. So I discovered human design. Well, actually, I like to say human design found me because I wasn't searching for it. A friend DM'd me December 15th, 2018. And I know this because I have a screenshot of my chart from that day, the first time I pulled it up. And she DM'd me on Instagram, and I had been talking about how tired I was and how I felt like I couldn't work as hard as everyone else, and I was just exhausted. I was working in retail at the time. And she DM'd me and she said, "Are you a projector like me?" And I said, "I have no idea what that means." And she's like, "Well, look it up, Google it, and let me know." And so I Googled it, put in my birth information, pulled up my chart, and of course, I was a projector. And still, I had no idea what that meant, but I sent her the screenshot and I was like, "I am a projector. What does that mean?" And so she sent me a few resources. I was actually on a road trip when this happened. I was driving from Austin, Texas to Dallas, Texas, and I was at a gas station, stopped. And so I pulled up some podcasts and I just like searched for human design and I found a few podcasts and I listened to those podcasts for the rest of the drive. And it was like my mind had been open to a new world and everything that I learned resonated so deeply. I felt so validated. I felt so seen. I felt like, oh my gosh, nothing's wrong with me. There's other people who feel this way. All of these thoughts I had about how I hoped and wished life could be are actually what it's supposed to be like for a projector. Oh my gosh. And so that weekend, I watched YouTube videos. I remember that night laying in bed, I was watching all the YouTube videos. I ordered books off Amazon. I was soaking up as much information as I could take in. I pulled up my family's charts when we were together that weekend and found out my mom is a manifester. My grandfather was a manifesting generator. My sister's a manifesting generator. And it just felt like I found this thing that made everything make sense. And the more and more that I learned about human design, the more I started putting the pieces together. Of course, I felt burnt out. I was a projector trying to operate off of consistent life force energy. Projectors do not have a defined sacral, so they do not have consistent energy. So I was pushing the gas pedal of my life when the gas tank was actually empty, and my body was telling me to rest. But I had all of these conditioned beliefs that if you work hard enough, you can make it happen. that you can't make money and be successful unless you're working hard. And I was looking at the world around me, and all of those messages were being validated. And so that's how I was living my life, even though I knew it didn't feel right to me. It didn't feel good or healthy or supportive or even true. I I know that the reason that I quit my job as a therapist is because I knew there was a better way. I knew I didn't have to work 40 hours a week to be successful. I knew I didn't have to be stuck at a desk in an office all day, every day. I knew that there was a different, better way. And I think I knew that to be true about energy too. I just didn't have anything to explain it until I found human design. So for the next few years, from 2018, 2019, I was experimenting. I was beginning to live my design, and I would put a few offers out there every so often. I'd started an Instagram account called Human Design with Ashley, which has now become Ashley Wilhite Coaching, where I was sharing what I was learning about human design, because back then there weren't a lot of resources available, and every person that I saw sharing human design online, it was explaining it in a really complicated way. It felt very dense, very heavy, and it wasn't easy to understand, and it wasn't in a language that was easy to consume. It wasn't simple at all. And so I started sharing what I was learning on Instagram, and I offered a few like mini group programs, and I was just kind of dabbling in it. It wasn't meant to be a full-blown business at that time. It was just, here's this thing that I'm learning. Who wants to come join me in this program and learn more about it? And I really, really loved it. And I remember having conversations with one of my friends, Carrie, and she's like, you should start a coaching business doing this. There's so many people who could benefit from using human design just for themselves, or other business owners who could benefit from knowing their human design. And I kept telling her no. I had so much resistance toward it because I didn't want to build my business the same way I had built my previous businesses, where I had burned out so many times. And so I kept saying no for years. And it wasn't until 2020 when the world shut down and I had time to sit with myself and time to really listen and dig into, what do I want? What am I doing with my life? How do I want to be spending my time? What do I feel like my gifts are? And through the first 9 months of the year, I finally admitted to myself that I wanted to be a coach again, that I wanted to use human design to coach people into alignment. And I remember when I finally said it out loud, it was so terrifying, so terrifying. And at this point, I had already found a few other coaches online who had built businesses from a place of feminine energy and from this place of alignment and energetics. And it gave me some hope that I didn't have to build my business purely from masculine strategy. And now, of course, now I know it takes a blend of both. But at that point, I was so against the masculine piece that I was like, I just want to do it with the energy. And I had some examples at that point that I had found over the summer. And I was like, okay, if they're doing it and they're making money, right? Like they're making 20, 40, $100,000 months, then I can do it too. And so September of 2020, I hired my first business coach. I went all in on my business. I created a program based on my own embodiment. And this is what I coach my clients on now. If you're wanting to create an offer, I believe you should be embodied in it, meaning I believe it's something that you not only know and understand, right? It's not just in your mind, but it's something you live. It's something you feel in your body. It's something that you are walking out or have walked out before. And so when my coach asked me, what are you embodied in? I said, well, I'm embodied in being a projector, right? I'm living as a projector now. Of course, I know the bullet points of what it means to be a projector, but I'm also living it every single day. And so my very first offer in my business was a 4-week program called Effortless Elevation that was specifically to help projectors align with their design and specifically in their businesses. And each week I had a module for them on projector alignment, and we had a Q&A call each week, and they also got a one-on-one session with me. This offer was like so insane for the price point that I offered it at, which was $555. But I had 3 people sign up for that. 3 people joined my very first offer when I launched my business, and I was over the moon excited. And leading those calls, it felt like I was doing exactly what I was meant to do. It felt like, I know this. I know that me sharing this information with you is going to change your life if you apply what I'm telling you to your life and your business. If you take these principles and actually go use them, you will then be in alignment with your projector design. And I knew from my own experience over the past few years how it feels to be misaligned and how different and effortless it felt to be living in alignment as a projector. And so I ran this program, and one of the most incredible experiences for me was actually the launching of that program. I told my coach, I don't want to launch this offer the way that I've been taught, which was strategy, right? I don't want to host a masterclass or a webinar. I don't want to send emails out. None of that feels good to me right now. And now I do those things, and it feels fine. But at that point in my journey, it didn't. I had so much resistance. The only way that I could get behind selling this offer was to write posts on Instagram and Facebook and go live and talk about my own experience. And so that's what I did. So every single day throughout this launch, which I think the launch was about 2.5 or 3 weeks long, I would either go live or I would sit down with my laptop and get myself in the energetic state of the offer. So, what's the energetic state of being a projector? It is being focused. It is being clear. It is being light. It is seeing yourself as the lighthouse. It is not forcing or chasing. It is recognizing your own gifts and your own value and what you have to offer and how you can serve people, and seeing how valuable that is, seeing how important that is, and knowing that if you can just share that with them, if you can just present that to them, the right people are going to see the value and they're going to say, oh my God, that's exactly what I need. I've been looking for this. I'm going to join your program. And so I got myself into the state of ease and flow and lightness and knowing and trusting that the right people would find it if I continued talking about it. And every day I would write a post or go live. And that took me maybe 30 minutes a day. And then I would do Instagram stories about my life, sharing about my own projector alignment, sharing my story, sharing what I was having for dinner. And that was it. Simple. This is why when clients come to me and they're like, oh my God, I'm launching and it's taking up so much time and I have to prepare all this stuff. I'm like, my very first launch, I did none of that. Like, it was bare bones, but it worked. It worked. I signed 3 clients, and during my one-on-one session that was included in that program, one of those clients asked if I had private coaching. And I freaked out. And I said, yeah, of course I do. I had not been selling private coaching. I didn't even have a private coaching package put together. I knew eventually I wanted to offer private coaching. And so I said, I will send you all the details. And so we hung up and I was like, oh my God, what's my private coaching package? How much does it cost? What's included? And I put it together and I sent it to her. And I remember being so scared. She would say she didn't want it. It was too expensive. But she said, that's perfect. I want in and I want to pay in full. And she did. And I had a $10,000 a month. This is the power of understanding and embodying your human design. Yes, it's a fun thing to know about yourself. What type are you? What's your profile? Right? But when you actually live it, your life changes. There's no more trying to fit into a box or trying to do things like everyone else or forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do or walking out every single day from a place of resistance and frustration and heaviness and exhaustion because you're trusting your energy, right? And as a projector, that was ease and lightness and flow. And what came of that? Success, which is the signature of being a projector. Success. I signed clients into my program. Success. Somebody offered me the invitation of being my one-on-one client. Success. She paid in full. Success. 10K month, second month in business. It doesn't make sense. It defied the odds because I was in alignment with my design. We could also look at my first year in business, 2021. Six-figure year. No business plan. No real strategy except to show up online every day and to talk about what offers I had for sale. But I didn't map out the year of how I was going to make six figures. I literally woke up and said, what do I want to sell today? What's the offer this month? How many spots do I want for private clients? And I talked about it. Business gets to be easy and business gets to be fun when you are aligned with your design. But so many people are looking outside of themselves. They're looking at what everyone else is doing. They're looking at all the people they see as successful or experts, and they're copying, right? Oh, you're using that business model. Oh, you're launching that way. Oh, you're pricing like this. And they try to replicate it and it doesn't work. And then they wonder why they're not getting the same results. And they think it's something about them. It's not about you. It's not that you're not good enough. It's not even that your offer is not good enough. Right? It's just that it's not aligned for you. So we have to understand your human design to know what offers you should be selling, how you should be selling them, what your launch strategy should be, what your content strategy should be, what your business model should be. All of that can be found inside of your human design. And from a purely like energy standpoint, meaning like, are you exhausted or are you lit up? Human design makes that so, so simple. So if you're waking up exhausted every day, having no energy, and forcing yourself to run your business, you are not in alignment. When you are in alignment, you wake up so freaking excited. Even if you're a projector like me who needs a little time to wake up in the morning, you are still like, oh my God, I'm so grateful that this is my life and this is my business and this is how I get to spend my time today. That's the vibe we're going for. I have a human design course and certification program that I created last year because so many people were asking me to teach them about human design. So if you are wanting to learn all of the information about type, strategy, authority, profiles, the 9 centers, defined and undefined, the arrows, that's the human design method 12-week course. And there's also a 6-month certification option if you're like all in and you want to go into the gates and the channels and the primary health system, the PHS, and the planets. All of that is in the 6-month certification. This program was created, one, to help you understand your design so that you're no longer having to learn from other people, right? You have all of the information now, and now you get to actually embody your design because you understand it all. And I created this for other coaches and healers and mentors and CEOs and team leaders who want to use human design as a tool to support the people in their lives, whether it's using it to understand your clients on a deeper level, using it to understand your teammates on a different level, using it to understand your partner, your children. This is a tool that can change your life. And I don't mean that in a hyperbolic way because it has literally changed my life. It's changed how I feel about myself. It has changed how I feel when I wake up in the morning. It has changed what I do for a living. It has changed how much money I make. It has given me so many opportunities. I was able to move across the country and live in a gorgeous luxury high-rise building because of the business that I built, because of human design, because of how it had changed my life. So if you want to learn more about human design, the human design method is open for enrollment. We begin January 10th, and this round is the last round I'm going to be running live. After this round, it will still be available. So if you're listening to this 6 months, a year from now, you can still purchase the human design method. It is just a self-paced, pre-recorded course and certification program. Send me a message on Instagram at Ashley Wilhite Coaching if you would like the link to the page with all of the information and all of the details, and I'm happy to send it to you. But you guys, if you haven't gotten a chart reading yet, if you haven't gone deep into your human design to actually understand what it means, I highly recommend it. And this is not me trying to sell you anything, but just in a way, like human to human level, and the understanding that it gives you about yourself and the amount of compassion and grace it allows you to give other people when you understand their design. This is the most incredible tool I have found, and it is my joy and honor to be able to share it with you on my Instagram page and my posts and here on the podcast and in the Human Design Method course and certification program. I don't know what my life would be if human design hadn't found me all those years ago. It has been such a blessing. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it on Instagram and tag me so that I can thank you. I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day. I will see you next week for another episode, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.